How's it going, everybody? It's your host, Matt 10. So this video is really just going to be me openly speaking about Eat Football, PES 2020, whatever you want to call it. Because I recently been thinking about starting a Master League in PES 2020, and I really went gung-ho. I downloaded all the PC patches in terms of graphic updates, squad updates, etc., option file, the works, right? As you can see, this is the PC version playing. Really looks really beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game, but the gameplay again is just so, I don't know the word. The best word actually I can describe it is hollow, because I feel like there's nothing to it. There's no substance. There's nothing that really kind of keeps me entertained. Look at that goal. The linear play between the lines is so ridiculously exploited in this game that it just makes everything seem so out of whack, and it just seems so out of sync overall. There's no resistance throughout the midfield again. There's no resistance to a forward ball. That was 4 passes, and see you later. It's that easy, no matter what difficulty, and the computer can do it just right back to you. And it's based off the positioning of not just the defensive line anymore, like my previous video, but also just in general, the midfield composition. It comes back to the article I submitted to PES Universe guys, and kind of contributing from the community, if you will, is basically what the article was about. And it basically advised what are the top priorities that are needed for PES going forward. And the biggest one here is get rid of these overindulgent tactics to make gameplay work, right? In PES, you have this fundamental understanding in the past, in terms of older PES, is that you're going to put players on the pitch, then you're going to let the ball work for them. Right, and that's the fundamentals of it all. The ratings will play out. We'll go 0 to 99, and that's that. We'll let those play out. Instead, now you have it 40 to 99, and you have tactics, which is probably why you're going to see a lot of comments responding to this video that are saying, "Oh, look at your tactics. Look at your advanced instructions. Look at your formations, etc." And as you guys know from my videos, I've definitely addressed that. But enough is enough, right? Isn't it enough that you can, that this is how it has to be, that this is the base of a game, that it's reliant on tactics so heavily in order for it to work? It's done in a completely mixed up order. And I think it's just entirely frustrating to have to see the beautiful name of PES be dragged through the mud on social media, on forums, etc. And in any attempt I make to want to defend it, it just kind of shoots me right back in the head, because it can't be defended. It makes no sense on the animation, the attitude in the animations, the movement off the ball, the overly focused sprinting off the ball from the central midfielders to seeing outside wingers making their crazy intentful sprints, etc. Everybody raising their hands to ask for the ball, even those who were right in the center of the pitch that you would never see. It's just so many little things with PES right now that are so frustrating, and the game is just so boring right now because of it. And I'm going to give credit to Konami for Data Pack 4, because it's a definite improvement, because it introduced a lot more error from the computer, a lot more variety, but it's still something you don't really want to look at. And after a while, it's just like the same old back and forth, like a tennis match. Like, look at this. This is the 91st minute. Nobody's really set up to defend, or nobody's really set up for anything. I know it's 2-2. It's a friendly. Actually, it might be a league. I made this video a while ago, and I know I realized I said earlier that was the computer who scored on me, but go figure. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, what is going on with PES that we have this type of situation right now in which we can't really distinguish like what the game should look like? And you've got guys that are pulling up older versions of PES and trying to validate that decision, such as getting PES 2017, for example, which I also, initially thought was great, but then eventually just got really boring. It suffered the same problem. So that kind of leads me to think, are we finally at that point where we need a new engine? Is this just wasted breath, though, because PES is essentially becoming another online game, technically a mobile game if you think about it, and it's just one of those things. It's like, what are we going to experience next with PES? Where is that love going to come from? I was fairly optimistic this year because of the inclusion of a PES ambassador, of having Iniesta address certain gameplay elements, but even in his addressing those gameplay elements, was already set up behind the 8 ball because of how PES is designed to focus on tactics first and then base fundamentals of playing the game of footy, of soccer, etc. second or even third, because before that you have player roles, player abilities, certain whatever they're called, traits. I'm not really big on any of those, and I don't really pay attention to them, but that's kind of like the levels that you have to go through before you get to the very basics of that were part of the older versions of PES, in which the basics were simply the ratings and how the ball interacted and how those players focused on the ball. And now it seems like players are so focused on getting into certain positions that the ball gets ignored. And you can see it so many times when people have posted, clips of players running away from the ball, even though it's right there for them to collect. And in addition, you see them when, and I've said this since I think it feels like from PES 2016, where you see them running back and forth doing these wind sprints. And that hasn't changed after all this time. 2016, that was 4 years ago, and it's still the same type of approach where they couldn't address those base fundamentals of, hey, there's a ball, go get the ball. Don't run away from the ball. Instead, what happens is, just even if you take a shot on goal, you'll see your players start to want to go back towards defending their goal because the ball is now loose. It's technically a 50-50 ball, but your players don't think that. They think, oh, I've got to get back to my position. So let me get back to my position so that way I am in proper position, because that is the most important value of my digital life. And that's the biggest issue with this game, is there is such a misunderstanding or such a confusion of the basics. And I know I've preached this before, I know I've talked about this in previous videos, but I was going through and I was looking at like, oh, you know what, I haven't made anything about PES 20 in a while, and so I thought to myself, okay, we're really going to give this a go. So I spent an hour getting the PC mods, like I said, getting everything sorted. Looks beautiful, get to play it, and it just lets me down. I know when a game lets me down when I really just start to get sleepy, I'm getting old in my time now, and so I get sleepy a lot easier. And if something doesn't keep my attention, it's gonna happen. And I found myself several times just hoping for the game to be over and realizing, like, here I am playing the same minutes that I play in FIFA, and I'm hoping the game just ends sooner, because I'm so tired of this tennis approach, this back and forth, linear pass, forward pass, straight to the attacker. Very simply, in that regard, it's just so boring. And I think enough is enough with that. And I really hate to do it, but I'm thinking about uninstalling this game or desperately going to try out any gameplay mods out there. If anybody has any, or of course, I'm going to try to explore what I can with the formations and 5-second fix stuff. I've definitely, of course, worked on that for a little bit, but I'm at this point now where I really want to play PES, but at the same time, I don't really want to play it, if that makes sense. I just kind of get tired of seeing it in motion. It just seems unnatural. It just feels very soft and hollow. And I don't really know what to do anymore. And maybe that's just an older PES version of me, who, because I've been playing a lot of PES 5, and it's, you would say it's maybe rose-tinted glasses or something to that effect. But there's such a difference in feel. Even if you take, like, admittedly PES 2017 and you get that kind of feel, it's a lot better than it is here with eFootball 2020. It just feels so soft right now. It feels so just high agility and just inconsistent, kind of very confused players on the pitch. And you never got that with PES 5, which is, to me, is one of the best PES of all time. You never got that feeling. And you would get the most natural sensation of when a computer is making a mistake. It was natural. It made sense. It wasn't forced. And when you're getting broken down against a team that can pass the ball around, you could feel there was an intent there. It wasn't a robotic movement, that made it feel like you were getting broken down. Or in most cases with current PES, it's like being worn down, basically. You don't get that anymore. And I don't know if this video really kind of conveys what I'm talking about, but I really wanted to put it kind of out there, just to give you guys an update of where I'm at with PES and how I'm really, really hoping that something can change, and hoping that, maybe there's something I've missed, something that needs to yet be explored, and that's just something I need to do. But in the meantime, it's really tough for me to play this game, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think about PES 2020 right now and what can be done. I know there's a lot of levels that we can talk about all day long, but keep it to a certain point. But definitely, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm sorry about the downer video on PES. As you can see, I'm definitely trying to figure things out. I'm gonna continue to do so, and and I'll definitely update with a video of anything like that. But I thought this year for sure was when the Master League time would start. Last year, you could tell I tried, but again, it's just PES, and it's the way it is right now. I mean, is it time for us to get a new engine? Is that even in the works? And I hope something happens, and hopefully it happens soon rather than than later. I don't know if I could take another moment of PES 2020 right now, but maybe I just need to take some time. I'll collect my thoughts, but I want to thank you guys for hearing me ramble on. I appreciate you guys as always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. As always, take care and stay tuned.